It's been some time. Summer dragged on. I was excited to get a start on his social life. I go over to Philip's house in order to discuss his status. He hadn't seen. I'm just letting y'all know this is the time, all right, to meet women, to date, college, right? Because like I know high school for some, but for me, I was a virgin, right? Throughout high school, okay. But was supposedly Elliot's time, okay? At this time in the scale of mystery, he didn't even recognize me. He seemed like a different person, looked much older than he was. Philip, though, didn't feel like he was as close to Elliot as some was later stating. Alright, Cashier, I see your comment, but dude, I can't even enter that minefield, and then I'll start trembling. I'll get panic attack. Okay, I don't even want to read your comment, but I see you, Cashier. Thanks. Yeah, I tell you, he was incredibly hard work to talk to, and would always make sure without stopping his chin when he discovered a new interest, the lottery. Upon buying some water fish out of the machine,
Hello there, and it is lovely to see you today. My name's John McCarthy, and I want to welcome you to PGA Tour 2K25. Let's get this going. We are playing just 3 holes today. Quick little matchmaking round. Hope you have fun out there. All right,
Elliot thought, if I'm a millionaire,
nice
that's when I get the girls. That's when I get the dates. That's not true.
Guess
Guess what, Elliot? You need to learn how to communicate. You need to learn some game. The world ain't going to come to you. Even if you were to win hundreds of millions, you still have to talk and communicate, okay? You can't just flash your money and be like, okay, everything is going to come to you. That's not how life works, pal. Go Brothers Striker, yes.
What the hell was this? What was it?
However, she might have got back to the Needless to say, she was furious at how he had left before. She more or less
and we're somewhere around 240 from the pin.
18, there was no you can't blame Samaya. You know, at first I was kind of neutral about Samaya, but dude, at least she put her foot down. Opposed to his real mom, who like gave him everything. Okay, you can fly back from Morocco. Okay, I'll buy you this.
And there's some fantastic golf putting for Eagle.
I'll get you that. Whatever you need. Looks like now.
And to him, I say good luck, because this is an insanely long putt for a fella to make. This one's going a bit to the right.
He lived at his mother's house. He would often go on walks around the neighborhood, hoping that someone would befriend him or go with him. You hear that? He would wait. He would go to these places and wait for people to engage in conversation with him.
Eagle.
Like, imagine, that's kind of weird, dude. If I saw someone at Starbucks just, like, standing around and looking at me and, like, I would feel weirded out. Like what is this guy's problem? Like, that's the thing is, like, I don't know. I just, look, Samaya's the only one that put her foot down. That's all I'm saying. And he needs to learn communication. So that's all.
15 feet to go from here. It looks like this one's breaking to the left. We are starting our round under par.
I've walked into Barnes & Noble's hoping that too, but guess what? It doesn't work. No one is going to talk to you. The only person that's going to talk to you, if you're lurking at a business, they're going to say, hey, we're closing up. Can you please leave? In his mind, he thought like a blonde bombshell would walk up to him at Barnes & Noble. That's not how life works, Elliot. He started messaging after the Facebook, trying to start up a conversation. I haven't been invited enough to his birthday party. Yo, shout out to my boy Vince Bay. Steve, bro. Thank you. Small get-together on the beach. Elliot and some of his nervousness drink far too much food, vomiting outside of Addison's apartment and embarrassing himself in front of everyone. He would spend a lot of time trying to block that memory from his mind.
Well, unfortunately, that's a missed green.
Here
we go. Let's see what this guy does.
Was blown out from early childhood. Mental health wasn't addressed. Early cry-dad wasn't emotionally available. Kid went further off the rails. Didn't escape. I can't disagree with you there, pal. I agree.
They've gone with the 6-iron on this one.
Seeing that all of the other people there knew each
All right,
other,
we're
he
getting
stood
there. We're
around
almost to the
awkwardly
green. Let's
before
do
leaving
this.
a few minutes later. On his way home, a group of young men drove past him in the truck and the egg section, laughing all the way, seemingly being drove face. Elliot picked up some egg scraps and tried to throw them back, causing the tin to come out in the past.
Okay, he's looking to get out of this green
You know
side
what I
rough.
just thought? If he would have stuck with the skateboarding thing, let's say remember like maybe an hour ago, 40 minutes ago, how when he was
He
younger, he
almost
went to the
dropped
skate
that
parks.
chip in
What
there.
if he was
All
so
right, let's
lonely, he
drop
was
her in the
just
hole. This is a
mad at the
save
skate park,
par.
and he just got super good
I
at
think we got a
skateboarding,
left
right?
to right
That's
break here.
when I believe things would come to you. Let's say if you got so ill on the skateboard, that's when other skateboarders would come up to you. Hey,
Well, that was that was tough. Just wound up short.
and that's how that was
And
maybe
this next
the
putt's
ticket.
for his
And
par.
if he got so ill at skateboarding, then I think things would have not only relationships but sponsors and all that stuff.
And there we go. Okay, tap this one in and let's move on.
That is, but he admits to getting scared and running back home in terror. Once again, getting weak, Elliot decided to start listening. Okay, that's positive. His mom's apartment whenever he could, hoping to increase his confidence and appear a bit bigger, and more than anything, hoping it would be
Okay, now let's have a check-in on our scorecard. Now, that one currently sitting at even par.
For either of them, but tried to hide it. Trying to mend things, Peter offered to help Elliot get his driver's permit. After a few tries, he managed to get it. Elliott's motivation slowly waned over time. He was again feeling sad, frustrated, and angry. He hadn't made any new friends, and after a few months, still hadn't spoken to any girls. Jane decided to hold a small party at a beach house owned by her friend, citing James.
And as we tee off on the final hole, you are only one stroke off the lead. Let's get it.
Okay, for those of you who are just joining us, Maddie is the girl that from his childhood. Now she's. I mean, look at her now. So this is, so this is interesting. It's kind of like a movie. It's like he once knew her as a kid. Now he sees her, and she's more
That
mature.
ball was launched. And from here, he's looking at about 180 yards to the pin.
She was becoming one of the hot blonde girls he wanted so badly. Elliot began to feel that Addison was looking down at him and becoming one of the cool kids. Ooh, that hurts. That feels pain. Addison to have become cocky and arrogant.
Okay, we may need a little more club than normal here. That green is elevated.
He felt that all the time and effort he had been putting forth was for nothing. Nothing had changed. In turn, Elliot dropped his glasses. That's the thing. In Elliot's mind, he thought hitting the gym, getting the good clothes, getting the great cologne, having the money, that helps, but that ain't gonna solve your problem, pal. You're gonna have to learn to communicate. You know what I mean? Yeah, rude dog. I agree. She was way out of his league. Like, yeah, I saw that picture, and that kind of startled me. I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah, that she was out of a lot of our league. Semblance of a social life he actually had, and it gave him an opportunity to vent and whine. But this is the thing. Out of his league, but he could have made a difference. What if he was tight with her and they grew up together? She became really tight with Elliot. That would change things a little. Because guess what? You got you have an ally in that sense. Even though you friend zone yourself, guess what? When you get older, hey, come meet Elliot. He's my buddy from childhood, and that could have been another angle for him.
Nicely played out of that bunker. Okay, interested to see how he deals with this long putt ahead of him. This one's breaking left to right.
You notice a common theme here? He's always waiting for a girl to talk to him. It's not going to happen, pal. You're going to have to open your mouth. You don't want to help. I mean, look, I don't want to enter the whole red pill philosophy thing, but
nothing wrong with that putt.
One thing teach you how to communicate.
And to save par. And this one's breaking just a little bit to the right.
I'm sure that that would have helped him a little bit as far as just learning how to talk to women. You know?
From there, fine effort. He's got 3 feet to go. Shout out to my man Godsoul. I see you. And I notice your goblin, Godsoul. John Goblicon. Okay,
next
that one will
week
drop on in for both. Yeah, we're done here.
Tune in, folks. It's a fun one.
Right, we are out of here.
Really
It's
nice
a
goblin.
1 over par for you at the end of this one. All right, that will do it. Hopefully, I'll see you back here real soon. Thanks again. Bye.
Still started off with it, she had a boyfriend saying, hello, let me know. Elliot decided that she would find a girlfriend of his own. So he tried to find a girlfriend on Craigslist, but to no avail. When he made a Facebook post venting his frustration at the lack of success, one of the people on his friends list heavily criticized him for doing something so ridiculous, pointing out that it was a terrible way to find a girl. Elliot's mom pressed. Alright, so yeah, he messed up there, right? He went online looking for a girlfriend. You know what he could have done? And this just kind of entered my brain, man. When he was playing World of Warcraft, or, you know, because I know on Xbox, you could meet people on Xbox, like through the video game community. Dude, he could have met someone just doing what he loved on World of Warcraft, met some girl in Wisconsin, you know, and like built up a relationship, and that's just texting, right? Less pressure on him, right? He could have done that route too. Comment if you agree. Frustrated with his lack of activity, urged him to go find a job. Consistently, she ordered him to go find one. With the home environment getting less pleasant, Elliot asked his father for help. Peter offered to hook him up with a job working for his friend Carl, building a staircase. Much to his surprise, Elliot liked the work and found it pleasant. On his final day, that's positive. I like that. Good. Jeremy himself decided to drop by his father's house unannounced for the drink. Without knocking, he walked in and went toward the kitchen. Samaya was angry at his lack of respect, asking him to go back outside and knock. Elliot refused, telling her he was an adult and she had no right to order him around. He then grabbed a glass of water, causing Samaya to knock it out of his hand. Peter angrily stormed up the stairs, asking what was going on. The three of them had an argument, with Peter taking Samaya's side. They both kicked Elliot out, telling him not to come back. Elliot hated both of them at this point, feeling no desire to see his father ever again. Again, Samaya is the only one that put her foot down, right? She's like, hey, don't enter my house disrespectfully. Have some respect. And he was probably super pissed that his father took Samaya's side. But I understand where she's coming from. Yeah, I mean, I'm Korean, dude. If I looked at my dad wrong across the dinner table, that's a beatdown. Straight up.
Oh shit.
Shut up. Yeah, shout out to Godsoul. Yo, Godsoul. Shout out to Godsoul. I shouted you out before because I commented on your goblin, on the goblin profile page there. Shout out to Godsoul. All of us here were really upset by your attitude and behavior. JW said communication is the key word to building up a relationship. Again, I agree. There's a lack of respect, but your language was really bad. There's no excuse to call anyone this word. No excuse in the world. You really can't just materialize and move in on a something and things without it. So Bruno said, you have a good heart, Stevie. He had no hope. We can only make pretend, but he was a lost case from the start. Huge loser or totally on the spectrum and not diagnosed. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there. That was a surprising point. Yet you ignored it, pushed, and became abusive. You heard everything. I'm sure you were hurt too by the reaction that comes back when you push out hate. As soon as you realize that you have to act in this life with fairness, love, and respect, you will be welcomed with open arms into this house and embrace. But you steadfast refuse to realize that you need to be respectful and not abusive. So there's a stalemate. This all has to be worked on. You will find out that when you start to treat people with fairness and kindness and not harshly and with anger that is uncalled for, the happiness will proceed will flood into your life and you will become everything you desire. That is what you need to learn, and that's what I hope I can teach you with all my love and respect. You are loved. If I show you some bad and the world blows it, hope you begin to understand. So you can live it living life. I mean, that's a fair message, I think, to send Elliot. You know? That's fair. Call me if you wish tomorrow. I have explained how to do it. In the meantime, I know that you understand what you do. You have to find a place in your heart for love. So, lots of love for you. Your father, Dad. I mean, that's a fair message. And like I'm reading some of these comments, yeah, he might be a lost case too. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying maybe he needed to be institutionalized. I don't know that. I'm not in the medical field, obviously. Yeah, it's interesting to study this. If you know what's needed with the main grade, fire back with the next stone, right? I just assumed for the necessary yeah, your wife is instead of solving the job, this is for helping yourself to black and white, which I could do. I have no I do not. That's you, Godso. I feel like I always, after a long life of my rockets and say, that's the teaching that's the being the influence of but that's a problem. You need to show respect to he's your elder, right? So see, there's a difference there, right? Elliot and Childhood Cosmo, you know Hollywood isn't real. I don't know, they call it Hollyweird. I don't know. But Hollywood is from the holly tree in Magician cast spells using the wood from a holly tree. Look into that. Like a little child. That is how you two do, and that has to change if you ever want to respect. For that whole, I received a call from my wife telling me that I was going to report that I see and so you see no respect for father, even if it's not broken. The entire system is the accurate of your inexorable devotion to God and your lack of respect. No matter how different you are from God, you are always welcome to do that. In this way, you have always stood by his side. He has acted bravely and always trusted him. I didn't believe in God respect. Judgment I have come to the conclusion that I my mother had no experience with life whatsoever, quite the contrary. Like there's her, a baby when we believe oh, now heart is trying to stay down with this pleading with regards to that. You have no respect for the mature adult, and therefore shall no longer have any respect for you. The thing I realized too is like, I'm a writer. Like, his writing's pretty good, right? The way he formulates the sentences and stuff. It's like, that could have been another option for him. I know, like, this could have been a lose-lose situation, but I'm just saying, he had a good, like he gave up on skateboarding, right, a while back, but, like, look at his writing here. It was very evident that Elvis was his father's previous female father. He got a box, he left Elvis with one of his father. He knew Elvis, and their lives were problems. It was really good for him. See, this is another thing I'm realizing. There's too much back and forth. Like, you know, again, growing up in my household, none of this would have occurred. It would have been, I would have gotten a beat down, and that's that. And I would have, like, went to my room and just said, whoa, I shouldn't have done that, you know? There's a huge difference here. I don't know if it's, like, generational thing, but, like, yeah, like, none of this would have happened. This dialogue between me and my dad. It would have been a beat down for me. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying my experience. Yeah, none of this would happen. is what has to be fixed. Up to you, Dad. Elliot needed to get the last word in. Although there wasn't much to respond to, he fired back with one more message regarding the problem is willing that we can improve perspective. Did you pay attention to anything I said in my last video? No, you did not, because if you speak, see, that's the thing. If my dad would have understood and I gave him that letter, dude, he would have taken that keyboard again, and boom, that's it, dude. Straight up Thor hammer to my back. Well, I didn't know that. Oh, we're gonna do Cho Sung Lee in the future. Oh, we're gonna do that, B. We're gonna. Hey, B, I see Stevie comments on Vegeta. We're gonna do that for a future watch along. Cho Sung Lee is on my radar. We're gonna, cause you know what? It's gonna even be more real because he's Korean, and I can give you my thing. You know, as far as like his thought process. You know, being a Korean dude, having his parents, you know, from the States, all that. Shout out to my man Eric Espinoza. Much love to Stephen Duke. Hell yeah, Eric. Love you. Shout out to Andy too. No matter what I got, you will have no effect on you. Because you are ignorant and only listen to one person you will watch. And the key is you will say one night. You really have an awful lot to learn. I am so sorry to hear about this. With love, Dad. I think you don't want to say with analysis. Once again, it's really people negative interaction. The three of them went out to visit market services, where they often had a chat. This chat derailed into an argument between Elliot and Addison. Elliot tried to insult him as much as he could, angry that he saw him as his speech. Feelings awkwardly stayed out of the conversation. Sorry by being tonight, Addison just staying hearing about Elliot's real troubles even one more time, telling him, no girl, and won't. That one sentence was true to reverberated at the back of Elliot's mind for the rest. See, that's not cool. I mean, Elliot already has these mental demons, and for that guy to say something like that, I mean, that probably stuck in Elliot's head, you know? I mean, he already had low self-esteem, right? No communication skills, so that's wrong for that guy to say something like that. Shout out to Dubstep and love you and bro Bobby. What are the top 2 restaurants you guys like to eat at, hanging out together? There's some good ones. Agassi is good, and Chosun as far as Korean food. But Bob's on a different level. I mean, he's probably going to steakhouses nowadays. Who knows? Shout out to Dubstep. Contacted him one more time and tried to set him up with a therapist. His own therapist, actually, one that he had been seeing for a while. Peter reassured him that none of the thought he was crazy. They really wanted to help him. There isn't any record as to whether or not Elliot gave this therapist a shot. What we do have is an apology email he sent to Maya. Hey, Maya. Situation is not as if they planned it. I know I can apologize for that. How about we just forget about everything? Shout out to MKU. Holy shit, you're my ninja. What super fan? Shout out to MKU. Yeah, we're just getting started. We're gonna dive into Elliot Rogers, then Cho Sung Lee, and we're just gonna keep this going. We might even get. We'll see for the future. But this is a long document. This is a 3.5 hour video we're watching here. Lazy Beach Bum says, Steve, can you do murder mysteries? Yeah, I'm open to it all. Like John Bennett Ramsey, I'm interested in your opinion on who killed the little girl. Yeah, I'll look into that for sure. John Bennett Ramsey. It is not because he decided to say sorry that it makes everything alright. It's not because he decided to say you're sorry that I have to welcome you with open arms. I have done that for the last 11 years and I have only been treated with disrespect. I will explain. The last time I talked to your mother in Morocco, not the DJ ended up at the hospital. That is not strong. You didn't even bother writing or showing you care. Instead, you thought that your mother especially feels like you didn't strong and father it didn't work, so yeah, too good at bad jokes says crazy how the frustration stemmed since middle school. Probably even before that, probably elementary school as well. too good.
Oh, you take the time. You're back 11 years ago.
You check your Steve.
Not back from you. Every time
Oh, man.
to listen or do something you that your mother said you didn't have to do what did I say. Every time that you want them to family enjoy the fun together like this movie, restaurant, park, you say, how about not? And win if we still win, you would make our life hell. So you stop getting home together. Every time that I had an argument with your dad, you would be confused. Every time you manipulated words that I would say to your mother and your father and created a very stressed relationship between us and
Shout out to Honey Hates Me. Thanks for joining us. See you later, honey.
I never taught Jazz to hate anybody. He calls her mother Mama Shin. I was the one to teach him. What did this teach you? To hate. You're not half that.
You know what's crazy? There's a lot of dialogue there, but if you could go in a time machine and go to Elliot, wouldn't you want to at least befriend him and be his friend to maybe change his life? You know, to be a good role model, teach him how to talk to people. Like, I don't know, I think about that. Like, what if you had that one good friend to, like, steer him the other way? A, to get him more to the skate park, to maybe to encourage his writing talents. You know, he could have written several books. Very talented writer here. I think about stuff like that.
We should have you every other week, not every other weekend, so we could really move. And after realizing what difficult child you were, I still tried to be close to you. I never tried to be your mother, but I truly did love you like my own child. You have made my life miserable for 11 years.
Yeah, Bruno, I hear you. Yeah, like middle school, yeah, I wasn't thinking about girls, but that, to be honest with you, I got more girls in middle school than I did in high school. I actually kissed a girl in middle school. And not a normal kiss. This is like a real French kiss, is what I'm telling you, in middle school. Okay, Gashier says, I would have told him the truth that he needs to severely lower his standards because blondes don't go for half Asians. I can't disagree with you there, right? I mean, dude, he's half Asian. Hey, dude, there's pretty Asian girls. Why do you like see it that way? You know? And wait for the Cindy Chin. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was a tough road ahead, you know? For him, right? But yeah, I hear you.
I have to put a stop to this, an end to this very, very abusive relationship. Now you need to know your father loves you no matter what. Of course you guys will see each other, and I think you will have the most wonderful relationship from now.
You know, Double Down said my first kiss was in 6th grade. Her name was Carrie, LOL. Yeah. Mine was in 6th grade too. And her name was Molly Sanders.
How on that you decided to be a positive, normal person. I'm very happy for you and your father, but this has to happen without me. I have thought about this for very long, and I've come to this decision. I've spoken to you.
Okay, the thing is, ironically, my girlfriend is blonde. So it kind of worked out for me, y'all, you know? I take that back. I got a good one. I basically kind of struck the lottery in that world. Yeah, okay? Although, but I'm saying from Elliot's point of view, he was stuck on the blonde thing, okay? You should have just opened up this, whatever, and said possibilities. Yeah, blondes like Asians, but I think in Elliot's situation, he should have opened up the spectrum and he should have been obsessed with just the blonde thing, okay? But he was already, it could have been any kind of woman. He was already, the cards were against him because guess what? He didn't know how to talk, so.
Your father's house, which has nothing to do with him. It is not the decision. Nobody tells me what I should or not do, but this has been the case since I've been. Because you're a bit more and dysfunctional and straight house. And why would you ever want something? I would say very special. thinking your mother was fine. Think that you should person. How could you let me come back over and over again to the house of the two? Now instead, we have to come. We're going to be honest with you as a mother. Please, you're going to show this letter to your mother. You might be able to take time. Please try to let the situation pass, but don't push it with your father. It won't work. We're busy with other things in life and forget about it. I'm not the cause of your unhappiness. Happiness is short, not rigid.
Too much back and forth going on. Don't y'all think that there's too much back and forth letter writing? Like this should be said in person. Like, you know what I mean? I don't agree with that. I think in person is better.
See what I'm going to do with peace later. All best for you and wish you all the way. So from the bottom of my heart and
Yes.
everything seemed to find out that his mother's best was Jack, the wealthy man who owned the Malibu beach house where they often had parties. Jack was a man with a net worth of $500 million. Once Elliot heard about this, he clung to the idea that his mother would marry into such wealth. He felt that would solve everything.
No, that would not solve anything. That would have made things worse for him. Because guess what? The entitlement would have raised way over his head. He would have thought he could buy the world. It's like, no. I'm glad that didn't happen. I don't think that, grew into fruition.
To continuously beg Chip to marry this man, nor any relative. It didn't really matter who. She adamantly refused, even with him to stop bothering her about it. She didn't want to be married, feeling it would turn out like her last marriage. Elliot told her that she should sacrifice her own well-being for his happiness, and think that it offended her greatly.
Yeah, I think any mother would be offended if, like, her son said, Mom, please marry the rich guy with $500 million. He'll solve all our problems. Nah, not gonna solve anything.
Elliot finally got his private session. After days of finally hurt his news, his mother had gotten a new partner, Jack, meaning that she could give Elliot her old one. He was about to experience an element of freedom that he never had before. Elliot was already done with years of college. He hadn't entirely given up on his fantasy.
See, that kind of made me mad. He was balling out with the goddamn BMW. There should be no excuses, Elliot. You should be balling out, and that's the car to have, right? You would think, right?
Having fun with the simple college life, however, he took an interest in more about college. After that, his mom took a look. He found the place didn't really get the BMW. Everything was installed more pretty.
Too good at bad jokes said, did no one want him to get counseling? Yeah, that's a very fair question. Yeah, you would think at this point he's saying these things, he's acting very bizarre. Yeah, you would think if you were the parents, you would definitely have to get like 10 counselors for him, right? You would think.
Well, but he had everything to go. There were boys, girls, everything. With the world to this day to become real.
Too good at bad jokes says again, I'd be going to my parents' parties meeting other kids. Yeah, you would do that because you're smart. Okay? Yeah, I would too. Franco Avila says he needs a council room, LOL. Yeah, I agree with you.
He thought he drove with his class, but only sat next to a bigger man with a bus cuts, and Elliot felt was obnoxious. He wasn't only jealous, he grew to hate them both with a passion, very much upfront.
See, that's another problem with him. He was a hater. Don't hate, learn. If you were that kid and you saw a guy like always with a girl, wouldn't you want to learn and see what is he doing? What's his secret? Wouldn't you want to talk to him and kind of like, you get some feedback from him? I would.
Well, hello there. Glad you could join me for a round. My name's John McCarthy. I'd like to welcome you to PGA Tour 2K25.
Look, I said that 20 minutes
we
ago.
are in store
agree.
for a little bit of
He was
stroke
a good
play
writer,
action.
right?
We got
He
3
got the mom
holes.
call,
This
okay?
should be fun.
He should have followed that.
Let's get into it. Good shot.
Hita says
All right, let's
his
see how
envy
he
is
does.
super relatable for me. Look, we could all relate, right? We've all been there, right? But you don't have to stay there.
He waits working toward riding.
Yeah, that's a normal thing to be envious. Yeah, I was jealous and envious of all my friends who got girls in high school. Like,
He forgot about his school.
This shot's around
He goes to
95
Alabama,
yards to
different
the pin.
stories, two of which he presented to his mother for critique. She told him that either one could make a good movie, which made him even more confident. He debated on
God dang, too good at bad jokes. He's dropping some gems. He was antagonized at a young age to hate people and grew into adult life. Yeah, I agree. God dang, you guys are just dropping gem after gem. JW said he became a hater as a defensive mechanism being rejected. Yeah, I can't disagree with you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's going to do just fine. Great work.
wait that long, so he gave
Okay, Hader said, I'm extremely envious about other guys around my crush. That's normal, but there's other fish in the sea, pal. Okay? Don't be so fixated on that. Okay? Life goes on. It's not a race. And be confident. Okay? Be
The
confident in
chip almost
yourself.
went.
he could no longer
All right,
stand
this
being
one's around
coupled with
15
glasses,
feet.
so he dropped one of them. He then
And this one
realized
looks
how
like it's
disappointed
kind of
his mom
moving
would be
from
What's up, Lee?
left to the
class had
right.
just started. His car, his home, and basically everything he had actually belonged to her.
This putt is for birdie. Looks like this one will
Okay,
break a bit to
Luzar
the
says
left.
exactly this is everyone's story. What pushed him to rampage? I think the final straw, we'll get to it probably in part two, but I think he goes to, when he goes to Santa Barbara, because he transfers to Santa Barbara, goes to a house party, and he mocks some girls, and and some guys push him off, and like he breaks his ankle, and I think that was the final straw. We're gonna get to it. I didn't want to jump to that yet, but yeah, there's certain things that happen chronologically to make him
Ooh,
that man
almost drained that one for the birdie. All right, here's the tap.
Hayden says, did Elliott even try?
An even keel here after the first hole. We are even par.
Drunk at a party. No, he
here we go,
did
second
not
hole
try,
of
and
this
that's the
affair.
whole problem with this whole thing is Elliott expected the
Heading
world
left.
to come to him. He did not try
Ooh, into the
to
drink.
engage in conversation.
Serious?
With
Are you gonna fucking get you off this fucking lily pad, you motherfucker?
He expected them to come
God damn.
Setting up for our third shot.
My man Yensei says, poor mental health neglected by his biological mom. Can't disagree with you there.
Yeah, you didn't hit that clean. Well, we're getting some good practice in here on our sand shots. That's a good thing. 5-foot putt coming up.
My man Clyde said he needs to be comfortable on his own, otherwise he'll be desperate. No one likes desperate energy. They can smell that a mile away. I agree. And another thing, there's nothing wrong with being alone and being within your own solitude.
And right now you're just 2 strokes above par. Okay, final hole of this one.
I'm not prepared for any role.
Nice looking shot. Okay, this is about 240 yards or so from the pin.
I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm sorry for my hair.
Looking at a 10-foot putt here.
You went flying.
I think this one
David H.
starts
says
off pretty
no amount of
straight and
lawn
then goes
care
to
is
the
going to boost
right.
that confidence.
Just, yeah, a little
Self-esteem
too
was
much
way
on there.
too low. I agree with that.
And ending your round with a par putt. Well done. Well done. You won that 3-hole matchup. My salutes to you. And with that, I say goodbye. See you next time.
Just approved for the end of the month until a check comes in, which has been postponed every week now for the last few months. What do you want me to do? Send over my bank statements to prove that I'm the crisis? What do you think the difference is?
Yeah, and I get, yeah, like just to backtrack, his father, his documentary